really, really eventually is what you do to help a lot of people. Round up. What's up? This is a special edition. Me and my man Dan Borrero. We are here this evening because we came on last night and we tried to bring you on, and the technology wasn't working. So today we're
It
going
was
to talk
still
about.
hot though, man. It was still going.
It was rolling. It was rolling.
Even with the technology challenges that we were incurring, or you were incurring, you're the man.
Me and Dan are not technical people. We are real estate people. And today we really just want to talk to you just very briefly about current events and what did we say, Dan? We're going to talk about a little bit about P. Diddy and what is it that is doing to affect your life? Like, is it doing anything to help you
Doesn't make
or
me a dime.
not? That make me done. So if you want, in fact, let me put the number up here. If you would be so kind, Roundup family, to just chime in, give us a call, let us know that our technology is working, and you can talk to Dan about anything you want, real estate related, business related, entrepreneurial, rental stuff, raising money, dealing with contractors, dealing with tenants, dealing with applicants, any of that stuff. The number's right there. We just want to see if our tech's working. It was working a while ago, but I want to make sure this thing's working too. So Dan,
I'm listening.
you've been following the P Diddy thing. I haven't really been following that
I
much, but I
haven't
am.
really been following it. It's just it keeps coming up on my social
It
media
it
stuff.
follows you. It
Yeah,
follows
it
you.
kind of like annoys the shit out of me actually when I see it.
Really?
Yeah, because it's taking time away from. If it
Did that
takes
a press release?
there are multiple stuff. I mean, the thing is, what's true and what isn't. But
Yeah.
the thing is, yeah, I spoke. Let's say I spoke to. I must have spoken to at least 30 people today, right?
Okay.
And at least a third of those people brought up P Diddy.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm like, or made a joke about it, or said something about it. And my argument is like, you know,
I don't give a shit.
yeah, I don't care. I mean, the guy. You think when he was sitting in his now he might care what you think, but when he was sitting in his mansion having those freak off parties, or he was flying around in private jets. Do you think he thought about you and I? Like, he don't care. It's like I don't want to spend my mental time thinking about that. I'd rather spend my mental time thinking about how I'm going to enjoy my vacation with my family and how I'm going to make the money to enjoy that vacation with my family.
I hear you on that, Dan. Well, we would have, well, number one, check the phone lines to make sure they're working. There is a phone number right here you can call to discuss with Dan anything you want to talk about. It's going to cost you outside of here. And this phone, the number stops when we leave. You can come on live, talk to us about anything you got to go in real estate because we want to make sure that this technology is working because we're going to be doing this every Sunday. We're going to be making a commitment to come live with you guys to talk real estate. But tonight we're just doing a test. So you don't know this, Dan, but I come from the music business. I don't know if I ever
I
told
know
you.
that. How could I not know that?
I'm just saying, like, the one of the main reasons I got out of the business. I want people to know this. You don't a lot of stuff you don't. I did my internship with Pharrell Williams. Okay,
Yeah, I
like,
remember you telling me that.
and being in the studio with him, I was able to watch how he moved, and with Teddy Riley, and watching these dudes are just they're icons when it comes to the music business, right? And I was just a fly on the wall doing my little thing. I was a senior in college, and I'm watching how they move. These dudes were extremely professional in the studio. I never seen them cross the line. And I'm thinking about hanging out with you. You mad professional. You mad professional. Like, I mean, I know these dudes have to have some level of professionalism. They wouldn't be where they are if they didn't. They got to, Dan.
Look, what the guy did in his private life, I don't know. I mean, look, everything he accomplished in the music business and just business in general, um, just with his branding, that's all huge accomplishments. It's just a shame it's all coming to crumble. I don't know, Chris. So people like when they become that wealthy and that powerful, do they just assume maybe the law doesn't apply to them, or just common human decency? I'm not sure. Do
Yeah,
you
I'm
think
not.
they become up? Do you think they develop a mentality that common decency doesn't apply to them?
Well, I will tell you, Dan, hanging out with these dudes. I put a lot of blame on that on us. I put a lot of blame on the society. I've been in the room with some guys, man, and they point a finger, they do this. You've been in the room with some guys, when they do this, they shake their head, and they got people to jump, they say hi hi, and it's infectious. Like we got to get this for so. I'm like, all right, let's do it. So I blame us, man. I blame us for putting them on the pedestal and making their lives so important that they have the right to even act like they do, right? And that's one of the reasons I got out of the game. Alternative lifestyle. They were after me hard, right? Because I'm a nice dude. I'm kind of rolling. I never forget getting invited to these nightclubs and getting invited to these parties, Dan. I remember one time I invited one of my best friends to go with me. He's like, Chris, what you doing? I'm like, I'm just hanging out. Okay, we gotta go. Right? It was all men. You know what? So that what they do, Dan, for me when I was in the game, they invite you to these parties after the studio, right? And you're this little guy trying to get up. So it's almost like either you come in rolling so you get a song, or you can meet somebody to do something for you, and then you need to do these things, or you're not, and you're not gonna get a song played. So I can see I blame society, Dan. Not all of it, but I blame us for putting people
Look,
up in
that
post.
that whole lifestyle is it's not something you and I are accustomed. Let's listen, people.
Yeah, yeah.
We are here to talk real estate.
That's right.
So let's give us a call. We have anybody on, Chris?
Nobody call. Nobody call.
How many people do we have on right
We
now?
got 15 people now. It's so last minute. I mean, Dan and I were coming on here just to chat.
Listen, you got 15 people on here. Let's ask Chris whatever questions you want.
Any
Ask
question
me.
you got, put
You
it up.
literally have. I just right before Chris sent me this email, I was returning two different emails to different people that are in my mentorship class, and that were asking me questions. So,
Cool.
Chris, this one woman was just asking me. She's a new investor. I don't. I think it's a 2 or 3 family home, and she's saying she's got a turnover in one of the
Tenant
apartments.
vacancy.
Yes, coming up the end of this month, and but while she wants to quickly turn it over, she's asking me, should she get a contractor to do everything, or should she get individual trades to do their particular um, uh, skill set within that apartment? But she also wants to. She said that the hallways need some tender loving care. Some of the threads have to be changed on the stairs, compounding, new paint, which is fine. I love it. Changing light fixtures. Says she wants to change them to LEDs, which is what I want to hear because that's what I do, right? We're always looking to minimize our utility costs and at the same time make the place brighter and cleaner. But she asked me, do you want to should she get just a contractor to do everything? And I had to answer that's an individual question.
Explain the difference in the two, Dan, for people that may not understand.
So what if you get one contractor, that contractor, you're hiring that one contractor essentially to oversee the entire job. And what they're going to do is they're going to go get that subcontractor, the painter, the electrician, the plumber, the carpenter, the sheetrock person, the polish person, right? Um, the flooring person. That one contractor is going to assemble that team and put them all under one roof and coordinate when does this person come in so that they're not tripping over each other, and when does that person come in, right? So, I like to coordinate everything, but the reality is I save about 30% to 35%. So if that
And you have the time, Dan. And you got the time.
right, because this is what I do. This is my livelihood. This is not a part-time job for me, right? So, you know, I like to do it that way. One, I save about 35% because and essentially that contract is hitting you over the head for about 35%. So let's take simplistic numbers. If you hire that contractor and the job is costing him 6,500, he's going to charge you 10,000. And rightfully so, because he's also has insurance and he's got his equipment and he's got to spend his time going back and forth and coordinating everybody, right? And then collecting money from you so that you could pay so he could pay his subcontractor versus if you do it yourself, but it's you now have to be you have to be the
Press
head,
1 to send.
you have to be the head of that orchestrator. So that's it.
One second, caller.
That
Hold on,
brings
hold one
me to
second,
your
caller.
question. right? On whether you should
Be the
be
GC.
the contractor on a job, or should you just hire somebody?
Let's pick up there with our caller after that. Caller, state your name and where you're calling from, please.
Hey, how you doing? This is Demetrius calling from Brooklyn.
Demetrius is up, homie.
What's going on? Brooklyn in the house. I love it.
What's up, Chris? What's up? Yeah, I
What's
just tuned into you as a podcast. I find it to be very informative. Finance student, and I'll definitely have real estate in my portfolio. So, what you guys are doing, incredibly great for the coach, and I appreciate it.
Man, love it,
Oh,
love it.
that
Thank
is
you so much.
cool.
Thank you.
Demetrius, tell us this. We just starting this thing. Can you hear Dan?
I can hear Dan. Yes, I can hear Dan.
All right, so Dan, looks like we
So
got it.
we got it down pat because last night it wasn't working so well.
Demetrius, tell us a little about yourself, man, and where you're going with yourself.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, Brooklyn, New York, and here's the key thing. I'm actually going to be going to the military post graduation. So I know like PA loan, I don't know too much about it. That's why I'm currently like tuning into real estate pros such as you guys, but definitely post military, using the knowledge that I've gained. And I definitely want to build up a substantial real estate portfolio. Hopefully to utilize my VA loan. And actually, when I was just tuning into the show last night, you guys, one of the callers, he spoke about. No, so I believe Dan spoke about the family unit to house hat. Found out to be very informative. So the question is, what do you guys reckon I do as far as like post military having financial literacy to go out to start building a real estate portfolio?
That's a good question. Thanks for your service, by the way, man. Thank
Thank
you. It's
you.
honorable, brother.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Dan.
I'd rather you go first if you don't mind on that one.
Okay,
Because
so
you have your area is filled with military people too, so you're in a better
yeah,
position probably.
Demetrius, what if I were you? Are you single? You get family, kids, wife, all this?
I'm single at the moment, but I'm traditional, so I would like to get married.
But you ain't. I'm just saying, right now, you ain't paying. You ain't got a wife. I mean, there's a big difference, brother.
Oh man, I have no wife and I have no debt,
Oh,
and I have nothing, so I'm doing
oh,
pretty well.
wow, good for you. Let's clap it up for Demetrius, y'all. Give him a thumbs up, y'all. That was so cool.
I'm
He's
giving him a,
the narrative. He's the narrative.
I'm giving him a clap just for not having no debt. And
No doubt.
this is what he's saying. He's saying no debt, and he's seeking financial literacy. I mean,
Good.
those two things in itself means you already have a relationship with money.
That you daggone right, Demetrius. I'm so happy for you, man. I don't, people come on, and Dan and I meet people a lot, and we all like to minimize what we've done. And I'm here to tell you, brother, that's large. That's large. And if you don't remember anything from tonight, try to remember that debt is like high blood pressure. You can't see it, but it is slowly just chipping away at your arteries and your heart and your veins and all this stuff. Not to say you don't shouldn't get into debt. I'm just saying, remember, you got to keep it top of mind. Okay. So for you
Mhm.
getting out of the military, if I was going in, I would take one of the secrets of the rich. I'm gonna tell you this because this is a rule that I live by. When money comes in, we invest first and spend what's left. Where the poor and middle class, they spend first and invest the rest. So for you going in the military, you got no debt, no family, you got no kids, you got to be all this stuff. You got so many things that are not holding you back. Every dollar you bring in, dog, I would take minimum 10% minimum and just put it in an account and say, look, this is going to be.
I disagree, man. He's got no debt, no wife, no kids. He's going to the military. They're going to give him housing allowance, clothing allowance. If I
What
was
do you
him,
think? 25,
I live on base if you could to lower your
25%?
housing costs, and you should be saving 35% of your income.
I'm saying worst case scenario, you come. Yeah, you're right. You know what? You here to get advice. I would just spend you right 30% because I even do that now. I'm almost at 30% now, and I got three kids, wife, vacation. So the more I promise you, though, you got to time travel in your mind. As soon as I get out, I'm gonna have this down payment because I don't want you getting no money down, man. It's just a setup.
Yeah, it's a setup for failure.
Yeah, man. What you say, Dan?
I agree with it 100%. You look, the reality is, man, you which branch you're going into, if you don't mind me asking.
I'm going into the army.
Okay, you're going in with your degree,
Yes, sir.
or you
Oh
going in,
man, you can be
you
chilling.
going in with an officer as an officer candidate, or what do you, or enlisted?
I'm actually going to enlist in turn of becoming an officer.
Okay. Look, the reality is this. You have no debt. You're young. You're going into the military. You have a lot of opportunity to save a lot of money.
Yeah, man.
Um, use that time. This is the way I look at it. I remember a relative of mine said he didn't want to go to college, and I said that's great. College ain't for everybody. It's the truth, and college ain't gonna make you rich. This is what makes you rich. What's in your heart. But I remember telling him, and I only remember because he brought this to my attention about a year ago. We were at a block party at my sister's house, and he happened to be there. And he said to me that I gave him advice when he was 18 years old that to this day he still lives by to an extent. And I said, well, what was that advice? Because I don't remember. And he said, I told him, listen, and when he reminded me, I remembered. When you go to college, you're going to graduate most likely with debt. And if you're as lucky as my kids and Chris Haskins' kids, you won't graduate with debt, right? But
Hope.
that's very few people in America that are that lucky. Okay, but the reality is, if you choose to go to work instead of going to college, when you graduate, when in 4 years, at least the person who went to college has got a piece of paper that says they're qualified. That don't make them qualified, but the paper says it makes them qualified. I got a whole lot of them back there. Well, those are my kids' old degrees back there. So the truth is that the person who didn't go to college better have at least $100,000 saved up or $200,000 saved up
Save it up.
because they weren't spending money in school and they should have been working and creating a relationship with money. So what do you? At least they have a piece of paper that says they're qualified. You better have $200,000 saved
I like that, Dan.
to justify that 4 years of not having gone to get that education.
I like that.
And he actually became a plumber. He is extremely successful, and he said to me when my friends were graduating, the kids that I went to high school when they were graduating from college, on the day of their graduation, I had $180,000 in the bank. So
Wow.
what I'm saying is, if you're going to go to the military and give them 4 years of your life, you need to justify that's 4 years, right? Make sure you're coming out with a skill set that's going to enable you to make a whole lot of money when you come out. Number one, right? You don't want to go in the military and become a painter, or a cook. You want They have so many different avenues that you could, especially if you're going to get into the cybersecurity side of the business,
Mm.
right?
Fiber optics and all that.
Where I know people, relatives actually, who left the military, went back to literally the day they retired from the military, they were hired by the military as civilians,
Hmm.
making high six figures because of the skill sets that the military taught them, but and that they perfected.
Yeah.
The real thing is they focused in that skill set. They paid attention. They worked their asses off. So I love the fact that you want to go in the military. Just use that time. Use the
Stay
military
busy.
for your benefit. Don't let the military use you.
Indeed, indeed.
All right, Demetrius, man, it's an honor meeting you. All of our good. When are you leaving? Oh, you got some time, right? You still in school?
Yeah, I actually leave at the top of the year, so this is my last semester right now, so
We're gonna
pretty
say a
soon.
prayer for you,
Where
man.
do you go to school at?
Baruch College.
Oh, that's good school. Very good school. What are you majoring? Finance, you said?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a great school. I love
Man,
that. I know a lot of successful people that graduated from there. A
this
lot of
dude, you
successful
are
people.
gonna be chilling, yo. You got a degree and you get money after right after you get out of school. You got a job waiting for you. I mean,
Love
shit, you can't lose, brother.
it. Love it.
Yeah, come on, come
There's
on.
three things you need to
I'll
stay
set it
away.
up.
Women, three things take you down. Women, drugs, taxes. If you
And you know
can get
what? I think it's more. It's women,
women,
drugs,
drugs,
gambling,
gambling.
alcohol, and of course the taxes.
Demetrius, good talking to you, buddy.
Thank you, Demetrius.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Guys, have a great night.
We'll see
No,
you
I gotta
soon.
thank you for coming on. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
Thank
no doubt. That is cool. I love talking to the people, man. He got a daggone good future looking out for him, brother.
He's super super. There's any single women out here, you should be looking for Demetrius.
I was gonna
That
say he
guy,
need to
that
be
guy's
on
got a
top,
future.
top of them ladies. Call in 757-204-1332. 757-204-1332. If you guys want to come on and talk about anything real estate related, one of our members here, Deborah Jackson, how you been doing? Call in show. That's right. Hey yo, Marco, we're doing calling in show now. This is the new format. We're doing
Call in and you could ask us whatever questions you want. You're gonna get free advice. Listen, I know what Chris charges for one-on-one relationship.
that's 1 hour.
And I know what I charge, and this is all free tonight. So you guys need to take advantage of this opportunity.
So they're getting what? Almost $400.
More than that.
I don't even know how much you up to, Dan, but whatever it is, I know it ain't cheap.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty reasonable. It's only $250 an hour.
Okay, so you're getting $500. Okay, we're at almost $550, guys. This is $550 value that you're getting for nothing, for free. All we ask you to do is help us test our audio mic. Help us make sure
Come on live with us.
we got this thing, because we still trying to figure this daggone microphone
Chris
thing out.
in Brooklyn.
Press 1 to send.
Let's see what we got. Caller, please state your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Chris. I'm in Brooklyn.
What up, Chris?
Brooklyn in the house again. Congratulations.
Yeah. Hey, how's it going, Dan?
What's going on? Who are we speaking to?
It's Chris.
He's
How
Chris
are
too.
you, Chris?
Chris, what's
I'm
going
doing
on,
well.
brother?
How you guys?
What
How
you
you
got,
fellas?
man? What you got? What's on your
Not
mind? You
much,
doing
not
something?
much.
You doing something?
So
Or you
we
got a
started,
deal? Or you looking to?
Yeah, so I just wanted to ask what will he do in my situation, right? So I have two kids, two little ones, one and a 3-year-old, and
Okay.
we're expecting a son next year. So we have we're gonna have 3 kids. Started investing in real estate in 2020. So we have about maybe 9 properties or so.
Oh wow.
You. Good for
Yeah,
you.
I mean,
Wow,
so
that's
just
cool.
we have about like $150,000 cash. Wondering if we should take that money, start a business. Like we're not seeing any deals right now in real estate.
Where you're buying, Chris, if you don't mind me asking?
In Philadelphia and Jacksonville.
So you're in Pennsylvania and Florida.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Go
you
ahead.
wanna
Let me
take that
keep
one
going.
first?
Let me keep going.
Okay, I know one of his markets extremely well, Jacksonville. So,
Well,
Chris,
keep going.
you're seeing some market reductions, right? Prices coming down in Jacksonville.
Well, we bought them a couple of years ago, so they've up like 50% or more. So we got in just in the right time. We
Okay.
haven't purchased anything in the last 2 years, but we've been actively buying in Philadelphia.
Okay.
It's still a good market, still appreciating. But yeah, Florida, we're seeing price cuts and some depreciation.
So, I personally believe right now I'm in the same situation as you're in, and I'm kind of like in a wait and see type of situation, with the exception of I was just talking to Chris about it, and I'll even show you guys here. I was just doing my due diligence today on this one property here, going back to 2019, as you could see, right? And I'm thinking of, I literally spent like 3 hours analyzing it, because this is a larger commercial deal. I normally don't spend that much time analyzing, because if it was residential, but it still doesn't makes sense because it's only going to come in at like a 4%, 4.5% cap rate. So I personally, normally I would say when interest rates drop, the price of property goes up. I'm not sure that's going to happen this go around. Because I'm starting to see, like in areas throughout the Sun Belt, in Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, where large mutual funds were coming in, or big corporations were coming in buying a lot of single family homes, like BlackRock. They were quietly selling those properties off over the last 12 months. Now it's starting to come to light, on YouTube channels, and a lot of articles are starting to come up where they were quietly selling them. And now the properties they're selling now, they're taking a hit as much as anywhere from 75,000 to 100,000 and change.
Wow.
So if those guys are getting out and willing to take the hit, is because I truly believe they see something that the public doesn't have
They know
advantages,
something.
right? So personally, I'm taking that wait and see look. But I mean, of course, I'm always looking. But if something comes up that really sparks my interest, I'm going to jump on it quickly. But as long as the numbers make sense, right? So I would. Your problem is my problem. And Chris, I want you to tell me if I'm incorrect. Are you feeling anxiety because you're not buying anything?
A little bit. I mean, yes and no. Obviously, you want, you're kind of itching to steal, but however, you don't want to get into the deal and get a little over leverage at that point.
Yep.
So we're kind of just waiting for the market to either, turn or continue going higher. So, we're just kind of the same thing as you. We're sidelined. There's a lot of other options. There's talks about Section 8. There's multifamily. There's commercial. It's just, we're primarily residential, but the other investment vehicles look interesting. So just kind of get your thoughts about that.
Listen, I like commercial. I like industrial. The reality is that right now there's so much business, factories coming back to the States, manufacturing coming back to the States. And, we got rid of all our industrial properties and converted them. Well, you're from Brooklyn. You see what happened down in Dumbo, for instance, or you see like what happened in Industry City, right off by Third Avenue. All those old factories that used to be bustling when I was a kid is now converted to either loss or like small pieces of like breweries and office, like very very not anything to do with manufacturing. So I know a guy who actually just opened up the first industrial park on Staten Island.
Wow.
That had the first industrial park to open up on Staten Island in almost 80 years. And
Holy cow.
it was literally rented out. The entire industrial park was rented out with just the plans, without him even putting a shovel in the ground.
Wow.
Right. So, I like industrial, I like commercial space, commercial storefronts, but nothing where you need an anchor. Something like, anywhere from 6 to 20 stores, and all service based for the community, right? Where you have a doctor's office, a dentist's office, you have a laundromat, you have a deli, a pizzeria, um, dog grooming place, barbershop, salon, things that you can't get on Amazon delivered, right? That's if you don't want, if you're thinking of getting out of the residential side. The other thing I would recommend that you may want to look at is storage facilities. But I'm starting to see a lot of competition, even because I was looking at it, and the competition is steep in there, with guys like me who want to get away from the residential side. So yeah,
Easier money.
yeah.
Easier money. You got a good
I
problem.
hope that helps.
Section 8.
Mhm.
What about Section 8? I was thinking about putting some. Like, we don't have any Section 8 properties, but thinking about maybe getting some Section 8 just because it's secured by the government, or secured by the
Yeah, that's a Chris question there.
Well, when you say Section 8 property, you talking about multifamily?
I'm sorry. What's it?
When you say Section 8, I heard you say Section 8 property. are you just
Yeah, yeah. We're thinking about like Section 8 in like in Trenton, so maybe like Trenton, or maybe some places in Philly, or maybe some places in Newark. Maybe just getting some Section 8 property in those areas.
When you say property, are you just saying like a single family, or this is multifamily? Because it's not
Um,
really the property. It's, they don't have. It's the tenant.
mhm. I mean, we have some capital to work. We have some capital to work with. We have a couple of properties that we that's free and clear that we want to maybe do refinance once the interest rates comes down, or maybe do a 1031. So we're just wondering, is it better to get into Section 8 where you get a higher ROI, or I mean, obviously you're the guru in Section 8, so I just want to get your thoughts about how if it's worth getting into now.
Yeah, I got you. So Section 8 has paid off many of my properties. It's been really good to me, but I want to make sure that everybody understands I'm an extremely, I screen my tenants to the hills, like just like Dan. I don't allow, I had one property sit vacant for 8 months last year, and I don't mind doing that now at this stage of my life. And it sounds like you could possibly do it too. So yes, I highly recommend anybody that wants to be in this game for long term, man. Why not partner? Even in my mind, I never forget. I was reading a book from Donald Trump. He's like, dude, everywhere I go, first thing I look for is a government program. Why not partner with the biggest, baddest business in the land? The United States government. I mean, I just said it in my head over and over again. That's what I did. So that was how I was able to stay in the game over the pandemic.
Look, the reality is during Section 8, during the pandemic, Chris wasn't worried one bit. During the pandemic, in the beginning part of the pandemic, I was sweating bullets. So there are very good parts of Section 8, and of course, there's some people who are going to tell you how bad it is. But most of the time, I find that the people who tell you how bad it is, they're just bad landlords.
Yeah, they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. All right, Chris. Well, hope you helps you, brother. Thank you for calling in.
Yep, absolutely, Chris and Dan. Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
That was a good one, man. We got some,
That was real good.
These are some good people. This is
really good interaction, Chris. How do you estimate the cost of repair values? Like if you have
that's you right there, Dan. I never did a basement before. We don't even have basements in Virginia Beach.
need two tubs and paint jobs. Look, the reality, Deborah, is and Deborah comes to my mentorship class, but we've said this in the class. Every area, every region has its own labor costs, right? So, a job that here, like I actually just negotiated a waterproofing job in Park Slope, Brooklyn. I'm going to be doing next month. I'm going to spend over $40,000 on that job.
Doing what, Dan?
I
love listening to these numbers because I would be out of business if I had these numbers.
It's 40. It's actually maybe closer to 50,000. I have to brick point. I have to power wash the whole building, acid wash the whole building. Okay, well, let's go step by step. The cornice has to be repaired. Some parts.
I thought you would be doing the kitchen. What the hell are you talking about outside?
Just the cornice. And then wherever the cement's loose around the bricks, we're gonna, what do you call it? Grind it out, repoint the building. But before you grind and repoint, you have to, after you grind it, you have to acid wash the brick, you have to power wash the brick, and then repoint the brick. And
to accept, press 1.
Right, we're gonna have to
hold on, caller. We'll bring you in a few seconds. Hold on, caller. 1 second. Go ahead, Dan.
Scrape down the fire escape, and then give it a coat of primer and give it 3 coats of Rust-Oleum black paint, right? So, and then I got to pay for the shed that protects the pedestrians that are walking on the sidewalk. The shed alone, between the permits, the shed rentals, and the architect that has to submit the drawings for that shed to the buildings department, is $12,000.
Caller. We got another call.
But if you do the same job in the South, that same job is $25,000. So it all depends where you're at.
Caller, please state your name and where you're calling in from, please.
Yeah, so this is DeMarco from Georgia.
Love it.
DeMarco.
How are you, DeMarco?
Yeah, I'm doing good. So yeah, I just want to say I appreciate both of y'all. You know, Chris and Dan. I learned a lot from watching you guys. I just had like just two questions. Just try to keep it real quick and simple.
DeMarco, what city are you?
So,
Are you in the A or you in where you at?
I'm in Augusta, Georgia.
Augusta. Okay, cool. Yeah. What you got? Let me make sure I put your name up here, brother. DeMarco. Is it DEM?
Yeah, sir.
Yeah,
Go ahead, brother.
we're listening.
Okay, yeah. So my question is, so I'm 22 right now. So I was just wondering, what advice would you guys give me, just like life advice, and what advice would you give me on retirement? I just opened an IRA, and I'm starting like just to throw some money in there, weekly. So it go tax free. I know the IRA goes on tax free. So
How
gotta
how,
try-
old- how old are you, DeMarco?
He's 22.
22.
You have any obligations with kids and a spouse?
No sir, no kids or nothing like that.
Good.
No debt or nothing.
You work.
Good
You
for
work.
Just me,
You work. What kind of
for
work
you.
do you
sir.
do? What kind of work do you do?
So I drive trucks right now, and I just do like Instacart and just little side gigs
I
on
love
the
it.
weekends.
I love you out there, you working. So I love
Yeah.
it because you selling your 40 hours, right, to your employer, and then you got a side hustle where that money's for your business, right? For your wants. So let me ask you a question.
Yes,
On
sir.
your where you work at, do they give you any like 401 programs or anything like that?
Yes, sir. They do a 401k with the match.
What percent are they matching? 3%, 7%, what?
So currently I never changed the amount. They just do it automatically as far as the 401k goes.
So what I would do if I was you is before you decide to open up an IRA, I would see what you can max out on your 401k, especially if your
It's
company's
free
matching
money.
it.
Free
Most
money.
companies are between 1.5% and 4%. So think about this, right? You put $10,000 in there. Not only is it tax free because it went into a 401k, but the company's matching $400 of that. So you're getting another $400 of that, right? Which you're not getting taxed on either, which should be added to your essentially it's more of your salary. And then I would speak to my accountant and say, hey, accountant, if I max out my 401k, how much more can I contribute to an IRA? Right now,
Okay.
you may want to contribute that into a Roth IRA because you've already maxed out your deductions, right? So you have to speak to your accountant, whoever's doing your taxes, and say, hey, how do I if I max out my 401k so that my employer has to match that, and that's extra money to me that it's pretty much almost free money, right? Then how much more can I put into a Roth IRA or an IRA, right? That's a you decision. But then the thing is, I see a lot of people at 22, they put the money in, they're maxing out their Roth, they're maxing out their 401k. And Chris, I know you're going to agree with me, but it's just sitting in there in cash, right? So at 22 years old, if you're not into the stock market, which I'm not really into the stock market. What I did learn though from a young age was I used to give my money to a financial advisor, and they were always comparing themselves like how they did to the S&P 500. And I was like, well, why am I paying you all this money, 1% of the entire portfolio, and your challenge is beating the S&P 500? Let me just go buy the S&P 500 from Vanguard. It's called the VOO fund, VOO. And every month I was putting in a certain amount. So when I first started, it was $250 on the 15th of the month, came out of my account, went right to the VOO fund, right? Through my IRA. Well,
Okay.
we're averaging about the S&P 500 averages over the course of 20 years about 10 to 12% per year. Last year was almost 20%.
Damn.
So, if you're just going to put your money into the S&P 500, which is the top 500 companies in the world, in the country, right? And they're paying dividends, they're paying, and then you take those dividends and you tell Vanguard or whoever you pick, Charles Schwab, whoever, reinvest the dividends back, buying more stock with it, right? So imagine, so if you put five, let's say you
It
put,
says 10%. It says
so if
since
you,
inception here is 14%.
okay, so if you
Wow.
do, $250 a month, when you're ready to retire, you're looking at $1.4 million,
Okay.
right? So, and it's tax free, right? If you do it in a Roth.
That
Think
was
about
a
it.
lot.
All that money it's
That was
making,
a lot.
you ain't ever gonna pay interest. You're never gonna pay taxes on it.
Okay.
DeMarco, is that what you were
So,
looking for? Are you looking for retirement planning strategies at 22?
sir,
Is this what you're looking for here?
it's kind of muscly for you. Can you repeat that?
Is this what you're looking to do here at 22? Think about your retirement? I'm not saying you shouldn't. I just want to make
Yes.
sure.
Oh yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Especially like when you go in Walmart and stuff like that, you just you go to the Family Dollar and you see like the elderly people. Not saying nothing wrong with that, but me personally, just seeing them, still just working at that age, it always just hit me like, I
They
need
did.
to really like take that
Wow.
serious, putting money away for retirement.
They didn't have a plan. It's so easy to not have a plan, isn't it, Dan? It's just easy just to go and go and go.
So I have you ever guys ever hear of Rod Cliff?
Who that?
You've seen him on social media. He's an older white guy. He does a lot of multifamily, like 100 doors.
Multifamily, skinny face guy.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I've seen this guy.
he's actually going to be coming on my mentorship class on the 16th of October. And guys, my mentorship class is free. So, and he's coming in about mindset, right? Like all the mistakes he made, and then that's him exactly. Um, and he's going to be talking about not only like how he changed his whole entire mindset, and then decided to become wealthy.
Good.
Now, so I would highly recommend, man, you join my free mentorship class because I have some serious
Okay.
speakers coming on. He's one of them. We have Deal
Good.
Machine. We're negotiating now for Deal Machine to come on. I have on the week the 2 weeks after the Rod Cliff, I have, well, Chris knows him. John Kakalakis coming on, and John's
The
going to
attorney.
talk about what wording should be in your contract so you could always get back your security deposit, your escrow deposit in the event you change your mind.
To buy.
We go deep into this stuff. So I would highly recommend that not only should you be putting yourself in rooms where people have your like mind, where you want to succeed, but you need to like start watching like Chris Haskins videos. I mean, Chris has got, oh my God, Chris, you got a wealth of knowledge, man. I can't get over how much free information you got, especially with the guests that you bring on, right? So, when you're driving, do you listen to YouTube channels or podcasts when you're driving the truck?
Yes, sir. So yeah, it's like you just said, like listen to people like Chris and just other, just just I listen to Dave Ramsey a lot too.
Good.
Just like you said, just constantly learning while I'm driving, just shaping that, forming that mindset.
I want to keep something in mind when you're listening to Dave Ramsey. I think he gives excellent advice to people who just want to work 9 to 5, save their money, and retire. Dave Ramsey does not give good advice for people like Chris and I.
What you mean? He does talk about debt free though. He talks about getting rid of
He does,
debt a
but
lot. I don't listen to him. I
we
really
had
don't know.
to incur debt to achieve the success we have today.
We did.
Right. So Dave Ramsey's not. I think he gives great advice, awesome advice, and I wish a lot more younger people listen to him. But if you want to become self-employed, you got to take some of what he says and incorporate it into your life, but you can't incorporate it all because then you'll never be self-employed. If that's your goal, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
What's your next question, DeMarco? Did we get you out of here?
Yeah. So the next question is, just watching you, Chris. I've been getting, I got in touch with, like, I've been going to the little tax auctions for the houses and stuff with the court, the tax lot auctions. So currently I have 27 100,000 saved up right now. So should I be looking into buying a house cash, or should I just, like you said, like Dan was saying, save up to that 100,000 so I can just have more options, more just options. So should I continue to save money, or should I start looking to make like investments like that? Because I do want to like purchase some houses, to pay for my expenses, and just create financial freedom for myself.
Man, that's so. Yeah, I love the way you're thinking. I just want to make sure that I just preface this because these conversations you probably can't have anywhere else. Like most people that call in here, they're going to work. The people they're working with don't want to hear this, and if they do, and their friends and family. So, thank you, brother. You're doing the right thing. Dan, right?
Absolutely.
So, DeMarco, regarding what you're looking to do, unfortunately, being an entrepreneur is challenging coming from being an employee, right? Even the people that I coach and train, they ask me all the time, "What should I do? What should I do?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know. Let's look at the whole." And I know you don't want to hear this, man, but this is the truth. Even with Dan, when we talk, we think we should do this. I don't know. Let's look at it. If you do this, boom, 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 boom. You go this way, you got boom, 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 boom. Right. So for you, you have to discuss in your mind what fits me better. So for me, I like doing lease options, contract for deed, those type of deals, right? Dan does more
Okay.
traditional tenant stuff. And I'm just saying that because I'm never gonna run, I don't say never, but I don't run my business like Dan runs his. But we both coach two professional NFL football teams, right? We both have to deal with millions of dollars of real estate, both of us, right? So you have to decide what makes you feel comfortable, right? So I don't
Yeah,
like
my own
saying
language.
you gotta, and the only way to do that, brother, and I wish that you would take some of that money to get educated as opposed to, see, what I found is people, including me, we're looking for ways for money to make money as opposed to looking for ways to us to learn how to make money. I think that's a flaw that we all have. And I'm not saying that it's bad, but even me, when I was younger, I'm like, damn, if I could just put 10,000 or 20,000, 30, as opposed to me trying to figure out how to put that knowledge here to go out there and make more money. So I'm going to say, let's get you educated. Because even if we were to
Yeah.
give you a house
Okay.
today, if I give you, I keep telling people, dude, if I gave you a house, do you know how to manage the tenants so you're not done?
Yeah, if we gave you $1 million, will you know how
Do
to
you know how to
you
manage?
know, will you know how to take that million and make it into 5 million in 5 years, 6 years?
Or even 2 million?
Yeah. So, I agree with Chris, and I tell people this. I just had a conversation like this last month with when somebody called me up for some coaching, and my argument to them was one, and they had about $200,000 saved. And I was like, one, don't tell anybody how much you got ever.
Mm,
Members, friends, nobody. Number one.
mm.
Number two, um, you obviously have a relationship with money because you've been able to save that, and similar situation to what the Marco was saying. He has a 40-hour job, and then this person then goes out and does Uber on the weekends,
Sweet.
right? So my point is, I said, but you haven't learned now how to take that money and multiply it. You've learned
That's
how
the
to save it.
managing part.
You've learned how to earn it. Now let's learn how to
Yeah,
multiply
yeah.
That's just offense.
before you go and take a nosedive into that next pool. So
That's
I would
just
say
offense.
I agree with Chris, man. You know, educate yourself and continue to save. You could do both at the same time.
Spend that money. DeMarco,
Yeah.
tell me about your education budget last year. What did you spend?
Education.
Yes.
Did you buy what did you spend on buying any books or
Courses, trainings, when you went to the
Oh,
seminar,
okay, okay, yeah.
conferences.
So I have been education wise, I ended up enrolling myself in trade school, to get my CDL.
Good.
So that was
That's one. Okay.
about
Good,
40,
good.
42.50.
Got it.
And as far as books, I have purchased a couple books like the Magic of Thinking Big, Rich Dad Poor Dad,
Good.
Millionaire Mindset and Successful Habits. So
Gotta get your books
and
up.
my favorite one was Millionaire Mindset and Successful Habits, and I like Rich Dad Poor Dad also. But yeah, So,
I wouldn't buy
so
any
a
real estate
little
yet.
under.
Don't buy no real estate yet. We gotta
Sure.
get you educated. You gotta get educated
Marco,
first.
you're heading down all the right roads. You know, I hope you're
take
getting those
time.
in audio books so that while you're driving, you can listen to it
Mhm.
and educate yourself.
Yeah.
But
There you
you're
go.
doing everything right, man. You're 22 years old. Stay the course
Love
that
it.
you're on. You know, you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing. Just don't let your anxiety, the feeling that you're missing out on something, make you take you
Yeah,
down
yeah, yeah.
a bad mistake.
There you go. It's 10 o'clock. We gotta get out of here. DeMarco, it's an honor to meet you, my brother.
Thank you.
Just, yeah, I just want to thank y'all so much for this advice.
It's an honor.
Y'all have a good one.
You too. Talk to you soon. That was good, Dan.
That was great, man. I love
We,
it.
we missed four. We missed four
man.
phone calls, by the way.
Really?
So we had 4 other people on the line. I can't let everybody in. So
You
round up.
want to take one more before we let them go?
They gotta call in. They have to keep call. It's like I can't keep them on hold. I was looking at the line. It was beeping while he was on there, but I'll put it up.
Yeah, let's see.
We'll do one quick one. Dan, you Lee.
I'm gonna hold you to it. Yeah, and I'm the guy who's leaving on vacation in 2 days.
Yeah, you go Dan.
Man, I got. If you guys would see the paperwork I have on my desk,
I wish I
I'll
could.
be up until 3:00 in the morning tonight because I got to be at a job site tomorrow at 6.
You better get some sleep, Dan. You know I'm
Man,
hearing
you know it's an 8-hour plane ride.
Oh, you good sleep.
I'm gonna sleep real hard.
We'll take one more quick one. Anybody that I see Deborah had one. Let's answer hers while you're waiting for a caller. She wants us to know she has somebody that needs a place to live, Dan. Let me blow it up for you. I've got a friend in Brooklyn that has to move. The building she lives in had a fire. She's Section 8, but will not qualify for your building. Everybody knows that, Deborah. No one. Deborah. Now, let me just take this down here for a minute. Where is the thing at? Deborah, no one qualifies for Dan Borrero's buildings.
I probably wouldn't qualify with my restrictions on my applications.
No one qualifies for Dan buildings. We all know that.
Somebody qualifies. They're all filled. All my doors are filled, so and they don't leave either.
Something's fishy here. I'm going to get to the bottom.
Yeah.
Can you give me advice to give to her since you can't rent to her, Dan? Dan, you ain't worth a damn.
You know, Section 8, it's tough finding an apartment in general anywhere in the city of New York.
Really?
One of the 5 boroughs. And
why is that? People don't want to rent to Section 8 up there?
It's not even that. It's just that there's a shortage of housing, a decent.
Oh, right?
So, like, you know, if you want to go to like a D class property, yeah, you can find. You know, they'll take you quick, but you know, there's so many. So when I look at Section 8 tenants, I look at them the same way I would be looking at a person who came to me who had a 9-to-5 job. It doesn't matter to me. So it doesn't matter to me where the money's coming from, as long as I know that they have the money coming in, that they could afford the apartment, whether it be Section 8, whether it be coming from a 9-to-5 job, whatever that is, right? But everybody goes through the same rigorous process, and they have to pass the rigorous process.
Mm-hmm. And we know Dan's process.
Some people's are more difficult than others. Mine is probably one of the most difficult ones. It's not. I would say the most. You know, it's probably the top 5 percentile difficulty. But Chris, let's sit there.
You trying to sugarcoat this shit? Okay, this shit's hard to get into your units.
Yeah, but
what the hell?
Let's explain why. And you know, Chris, you had a door empty for 8 months, man.
Yeah, but I'm not I'm not a a-hole like you, though. I'm going to deny you. I'm going to deny you with a smile.
Yeah. So, look, the reality is, I've been trained by the best professional tenants. They beat me up. They smacked me up like this. They're like, "Get out of here with your crap." So now I do my due diligence on everybody.
Caller. Caller. I'm sorry. Caller, state your name and where you're calling from, please.
This is Roz from Texas.
What's your name again? I didn't hear it.
Roz, R-O-Z.
How are you?
Is that short for Rosalind?
Yes.
I love that name. I just love the red rose off. Rosalind. When I was younger. I'm sorry. I'm be quiet. Rosalind, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Turn your phone down a little bit.
Okay.
What city are you from? I gotta type it in.
Speaker on the screen has to come down a little bit.
Yeah,
Houston.
Houston. Oh, H-Town.
Love it.
I know it's hot down there. I know it's beautiful down there at nighttime.
Listen, how do I hear the answer from you and Dan with my computer on mute?
You could talk on the phone.
Okay, great. Okay, this is my question.
We
Please.
got you. We got you. We got you.
I watch, Chris, I watch your show. I have one rental. It's a property that was my first purchase, single family. I have my own house, which is less than a mile from that. I'm looking at that original purchase is paid off. I'm almost.
Oh no, I lost her.
Luther?
What happened? Rosalind.
Are you still there, Rosalind?
I lost her. The thing clicked off. I don't know what happened.
All right, well, Rosalind, come on back.
Roz, we lost you.
Come
Hit
on
that
back.
hit that button again.
Let's get back while waiting for Rosalind. Why is the process so difficult to get into one of my apartments? But Chris, don't let
Because
Chris.
you're a prick.
Yeah, don't let Chris fool you. He's just as big of a prick as I am.
Oh no, that's why you fucking.
He just said it with a smile. I just say it with a straight face. No, you know.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
No, that's what you're supposed to.
Roz, is this you? Did we lose you? Because Dan's a fucking.
We got disconnected. Disconnected. I'm gonna talk. I'll talk faster.
You good? You got time. I'm just giving Dan a hard time. He ain't worth 5 cents. What you got, Roz?
Okay, so I retired and now I garden and I grow food.
Oh,
okay. Man. And I want a nursery, but I went back to college. I got an English degree and I want to tutor English, teach reading to kids. Right? So what I thought was I was going to purchase this property. It's got a nice sized lot. I'm not looking for a big, huge farm. It's just me. And I want to grow crops and I want to have a building so that I can do some tutoring. I found a building, a piece of property that's got 2 houses on it. They're right next to each other. They're small. The one house can have my supplies for my gardening. I've got 1,300 square feet in the back, and I've got another house that I want to renovate to have for my tutoring. The property is in Texas, and it's cheap. It's $32,000. The small house had a $400 rental on it. The people were senior citizens, and they moved. This is my question. I've never dealt with pier and beam buildings before. I'm on a slab. I'm in Houston. Mm-hmm. How do I find out? I'm nervous about talking to different contractors about demolition or, it's 85 miles away, which is not a problem. I got an old truck, but it drives. And I wanted to know, how do I find out whether the properties that I'm looking at need to be demolished or is there some way I can remodel them? And the only reason I don't know that is because I've never dealt with that type of a foundation before. I'm thinking if I ask contractors, they're going to all say, oh yeah, I'm going to get the highest, they're going to tell me all these different things I need to know because I have no knowledge in this area. How do I get educated on this type of foundation without getting taken advantage of? That's my question.
Chris, can I go first on this one?
Yeah, man, hit it, brother.
85 miles away, I think you're crazy wanting to do that as a business, as far as the gardening and the tutoring. That's number one. It may be exciting in the beginning. After the first year, you're going to be exhausted going 85 miles in each direction. So either you're going to move closer to that property and sell your current home, or you're going to just buy it, in my opinion, and use it as strictly as a real estate investment, right? Meaning you're going to repair both of those properties and rent them out, of course, for more than $400 a month. I would also get an architect to come in and look at it, and the architect will tell you immediately if it has to be tore down or should you get, or if he really feels that it might be able to be salvaged, he may say to you, you know what, let's get a structural engineer in here, and they'll tell us what to do with it if you don't want to tear it down, right? But to drive 85 miles in each direction, it makes no sense to me. Now, if the property was closer to your home, and you tell me, you know what,
Right.
I'm going to fix both of them up, and I'm going to use one not for my tools for my gardening, because I could build a shed in the backyard for my tools. I'm going to use that
Right.
one house to do my tutoring in there, right? And then have my
Right.
my garden in the back with my tool shed. And then the other house, you're going to use it as rental income, right? So now you're maxing, you're using that one property in essence for three different businesses. Well, your gardening, which is your hobby, you're going to have your business in one in the front, and then the other one's going to be strictly rental, right? And then in the event you don't want to do your tutoring business anymore, fine. Now you have a rental with a tool shed in the back, which has added value, right? So that would be my best advice.
Driving 85 miles is not happening every day, Dan.
I mean, think about this.
No,
while you're driving 85 miles, that's an hour and a half. How productive are you? An hour and a half going.
Roz, is that what you're doing? It sounds like that's not what you're doing.
No. I wanted to be on the property also.
What you mean be on? What does that mean?
You want to live there?
I wanted to. Yes.
So you're moving from where you're at.
Right, but my house is. I got 2 paid off houses, so I don't. It's not a 911. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Are you going to rent? So you want to leave the house that you currently live in and move into the?
So you're going to live in both of them.
No, I'm going to leave the house I'm currently in and move into that house.
Okay.
But with that house.
Different animal, total different animal. That's good. I love it.
Yeah.
I just don't know, since I'm not knowledgeable about this type of film, to just get somebody and get some information. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I would get an architect first to come in and look at it, and then the architect will tell you if you need a structural engineer, or the architect is going to spot listen.
He might be both. Sometimes they're both, but I don't know.
Yeah, I would look for an architect in that town.
So I'm not looking for a contractor. I'm looking for an architect.
You're going to tell the architect, listen, I'd like you to come over and look at this. Tell me how sound it is, and what can we possibly do with this? Can we extend it? Can we make it nicer? Can we redesign the inside? And then he's going to come and walk the property and give you can do this, and this. And yeah, this foundation's good. And no, let's get a structural engineer in here because we may need to change this. He'll tell you everything from the beginning.
That is a good.
Thank you,
Roz, okay. I've done several properties where we've had to add square footage on the next floor. And these structure guys, they will come out, they'll dig in the ground, they'll go around the side, they'll go into the house, tell you what's there. And they will give you a letter, and they will say, we this is acceptable, so you're covered, insurance, all that. And then they'll say, nah, I wouldn't recommend doing this. So, and they don't want no more money. You're going to pay your $500 or whatever it is. And then you can go to the contractors after that, because the contractors, they're going to all they want to do is get work.
Correct. I didn't know the first step, but I appreciate that.
That's so cool. Thanks, Dan. Yeah, Dan done it. We both done it many times, but that is the phenomenal advice. Dan's going to send you his email address, his mailing address for you to mail the check for that answer there.
What I would tell you, Roz, is come to my free mentorship class that I do every single Wednesday night. Chris, can you put?
How do I do that? How do I do that, Dan? How do I do that?
It's
email. I'll put it in the video description, but go ahead.
It's DanielBorrerojr.com. He's got it should be. I don't know why it's not on the bottom of my screen, but it's really easy. DanielBorrerojr.com. And we do it every single Wednesday night. It's absolutely free. I've done 107 free mentorship classes, And now I've even got a video library of every single one of them. And we covered the subject matter that you're interested in tonight. The subject matter has been covered on there.
All right,
Okay.
Roz, we're gone.
Thank you so much, guys. Dan, have a good flight. And Chris, thank you for your time and your videos. You are a wealth of knowledge. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Honor. It's my honor. Thank you. It's an honor to meet the people.
It feels good when people get that excited when we give them the little bit they need to move forward, right? Doesn't it feel good?
I keep telling my wife we're all right.
Chris, we've been on here an hour and 10 minutes almost.
Can I read this to you, Dan?
Go ahead.
This is somebody he's on my channel now. He's this guy. I want to read this. I very rarely do this. So 8 months vacancy rate will be absolutely devastating to startup investors and drive some to bankruptcy. Seems like irresponsible advice.
Plus a portfolio, get bigger, density rental. So, I'd like to say to Carlos, have you ever been through an eviction in the city of New York?
I just want to know how many houses does Carlos have? That's my question. Is how many properties do you have? And I know
Carlos,
he might have 100 of them. I don't know.
Carlos is making a reasonable. He's not making a bad statement. I don't take offense to it, but this is the way I look at it, Carlos. Right now in Kings County, which is Brooklyn, New York, the average eviction time for a tenant to get out is 26 months. I've heard of some people going 4 years right now as a result of COVID. So what's cheaper? 8 months with a vacant apartment or 26 months with an apartment that's not vacant that you're going to have to probably fully renovate when it does become vacant and not collecting rent for 26 months and then incurring another $8,000 to $10,000 in legal fees to try to evict that person. It's a matter of, what do you think is smart and what do you think is risky? That's all that matters. Decide which pain you want, which is the least amount of pain, right?
What do you think is smart? What do you think is risky?
Does it happen that we have empty units for 8 months very often? No, because I mean, I know my buildings are immaculate. My apartments are gorgeous, right? Everybody wants my apartment. Shit, I want my apartments, right? So, I don't have a problem with getting applications. The problem is getting a quality application. So, decide which pain would you rather have.
Maybe Carlos will come on one day. You could tell us his.
Yeah, and again, Carlos, I really appreciate that because there is a lot of legitimacy to what you just said.
No doubt.
To a startup person, 8 months is a long time. But again, you're suffering. So would you rather
either way?
Would you rather suffer for the 8 months having an empty apartment waiting for the right person, or would you rather suffer for 26 months having to go to court and then spend $10,000 in legal fees and not collect rent for 26 months? Decide
then the older I get, I'm like, I should have just done what I knew was right. I should have let it sit empty until I got the right person. And now I'm at the stage like, I don't care how long. I really don't. And I can say this. I can't believe I'm saying this. I don't care how long it sits empty.
Yeah, I'd rather have, and I want to say something else. It's not as also there's a lot of people that come with really good applications. Financially, they look solid on paper. But Chris and I are not just looking for solid people. We're looking on paper. We're looking for personality traits.
That was a question came in, Dan. What's the main thing you look for with a tenant? That's the main. That was the question.
It's not only the financial qualifications; it's the personality traits. Mm-hmm. I don't want to deal with argumentative people. I don't want to deal with confrontational people.
No,
shit's gonna happen. I just had a situation. Chris did a video on that, right, Chris? On the water with the water in the apartment.
Yeah, they were very amicable. They were extremely polite to be around.
Yeah, so things are gonna happen. The tenant upstairs let the faucet run, overflow, and water came down. And she let me in. She let me rip down the ceiling. She let me, dry it out. She let me, re-insulate it, put up the sheetrock.
It was empathetic.
We left everything spotless. We were out of there literally about 6 days. but she didn't give me a problem. She wasn't like, this is inconvenience, my blood pressure. Oh, I don't need this. This is a lot of headaches. No, she understood. I want to get in there and fix it. So either you could fight with me and tell me how inconvenient it is, because none of this is convenient, because it ain't convenient for me either. Right. So it's personality traits. It's not just
Yep.
a matter of financial, whether they could financially proof that they could financially pay the rent. It's also
Personality.
the person themselves. We're not looking for people we got to fight with or argue with. We're looking for people that are, you call me up and you tell me there's a leaky faucet. I don't want to call you 6 times to fix the leaky faucet you called me on. Give me the time and date we could go in, and that's when my guys will be there and replace it. Right? We want to keep it simple.
Yep. All right, Dan, I'm gone, brother.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. So I won't be on here for the next 2 Sundays, but
we're gonna try though. We're gonna try.
Yeah, we're gonna try. I'm gonna try to. It's gonna be actually cool if I could do that from Italy, right?
Yeah, I think it would be nice going back on your terrace or something.
Yeah, I may even do it from my phone.
Right.
But I'm going to try my best to be on here. But I really appreciate this. I want the audience to know that Chris and I, we just started this platform, and we can't get. Oh, we were just talking about it today. Like, wow, we had some really good questions last night. And today's questions were off the hook, wasn't they, Chris?
I got 1, 2, 3 callers we missed, so we'll please get your questions ready so we can help you guys. It does nothing more for our spirits than to help people. As much as we have been blessed, we want to just give, man. Not giving back, just give.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris.
All right.
Good night,
See y'all
everyone.
soon. Peace.